Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to show you how to make homemade horse treats. These are really easy to make. There's only 3 ingredients. They're so cute and they'll save you a lot of money. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, my oven is on bake and it's at 325. You could do this at 352. It doesn't really matter, honestly. It's just whatever you prefer. So the first ingredient you're going to need is just some flour. This is all-purpose flour. I literally bought this at a gas station for like $8. Okay, so the next ingredient you're going to need is molasses. Molasses is actually pretty easy to find. Again, I found this small jar at the gas station. It was $4, but this jar I found at the grocery store, I think it was like $8 for this huge jar. The first step is to put 2 cups of flour into the bowl. And then you're going to need 3/4 a cup of the molasses. So now I'm just going to use a wooden spatula to start mixing. You could totally do this in a stand mixer if you want. I don't have a stand mixer. I'm just going to keep mixing until it gets a little more brown. Okay, so here you can see the mixture has gotten much more brown thanks to the molasses. So now we're going to start adding water to get this to form a dough and to be sticky. First thing we're going to do is throw some flour on the table. This flour is a really important step because if you don't flour, everything ends up sticking. Here I just have a 1/3 cup of water. I'm going to add a tiny bit at a time. Okay, so the dough is starting to stick to itself, so I'm going to go ahead and start kneading it with my hands. It's just easier to get it all combined. So now it's a little sticky. You can see it's starting to form a dough. It's staying together. I'm going to add a tiny bit more water. So just from experience of making this a ton, if it's too dry, add some water. If it's too sticky, add flour. So now look, you have a pretty sticky ball. It's not too runny, but it's also not too hard. So now we can go ahead and roll it out. Thickness is a really big deal with the horse treats. If you go too thin, they'll burn. But then if you go too thick, they're not going to cook all the way and they're going to be kind of soft. You really want like a crunchy cookie. So I have some really cute cookie cutters. This is a squirrel. And then today I'm just doing some circles. This is pretty self-explanatory. You just are going to cut your cookies out. Again, I try to make sure mine are pretty thin, so here you can see the thickness, hopefully. They're pretty thin. They cook a lot better this way. Just went ahead and put the cookies on a piece of parchment paper. This will just help keep them from sticking. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to reuse the extra dough. It's going to go back into my bowl with a tiny bit of water. Like when I say tiny, a tiny bit. So now we've got a nice sticky ball again. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to make some of these super cute cannolis. So you're just going to need some tin foil. So I'm just going to make a thin snake with this. Just rolled the cookie out a tiny bit so it's more oval shaped. What I'm going to do is just place this tin foil right in the middle and you can see when you start to do that. So all I'm going to do is wet both sides to get it to stick. I like them to overlap. I think it looks nicer. And you can see the edges are fanned out pretty nicely. And I'm just going to make a bunch of these. So these are the cookies after they come out. I ended up putting them in for about 18 minutes. I just kept checking on them. You just want them to be a little bit more brown. And I'm going to go ahead and stick these in the fridge to let them cool. It is as simple as that, guys. So this is how you make your very own horse treats. Come back for part 2 to see how we frost them.